Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Friday, the 3rd of March. With Robert Murray McShane, we continue reading through Luke's Gospel. Today, we read chapter 17, some of Jesus' teaching. And in it, he talks about forgiveness. And he says, if your brother or sister sins, rebuke them. And if they repent, forgive them. If they sin against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times come back to you and say, I repent, forgive them. And as I read that, I thought, 7 times in a day, it sounds all very nice, and it's kind of encouraging, wonderful sounding teaching, sort of gives one those proverbial warm fuzzies. But you stop when you think about it. In the real world that we live in, it's quite a different story. There's not many people that offend me, but in my time there's been 1 or 2 people that have done things and have been there needling me. And you can just imagine one of those people at work that you know, and they come and they do things which they know will upset you, and they do it, and it upsets you, and you respond, and they come and they say, oh, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. And magnanimously, yes, oh, right. And 7 times in a day means that within the next 2 hours, they do exactly the same thing again and come back, oh, I'm so sorry. At that point, I say, well, this is the last time. You better come back a 3rd time. I'm not likely to forgive. I'm much more likely to try and punch them on the nose because they're now just pushing their luck. This is not being reasonable. And yet Jesus says 7 times in a day. That's a lot of times. If that person comes back again and again, sort of in a normal 8-hour workday, or even in a sort of 16-hour social day where you're not sleeping, that's every 2 hours they do it. That's often. That's a lot. And Jesus says, forgive them. Sometimes I think God's unreasonable. But the great encouragement is, it's difficult to do, but we are called to do it. But God doesn't ask us to do things that he doesn't do. God always sets the example, and he challenges us to be like him. And if he says to us, forgive somebody, the same person that comes to you 7 times in a day, having done the same thing, and forgive them, that means we can go to God 7 times in a day with the same thing, saying, I'm sorry, forgive me. And anybody dealing with any kind of habits will know what this is like. Oh God, I've sworn again, I've used bad language again, whatever it is, forgive me. And God does. And for me, that's a great encouragement. That's a great comfort and a great strength. So be challenged to forgive. But we only forgive because we have been forgiven first. And God does way more than ever he asks us to do. And that is a blessing.